You join me in the greenhouse and we're starting off with some good news. The seeds have finally germinated. Took the top of the propagator lid off to give the bit more better view. First ones up here, the tough ball onions. As you can see, them are starting to poke up now. In the centre we've got the dahlias. Them are really good germination. Nothing yet on the capsicum on the end, but expect that to be a bit later because it was later sown and also needs a bit higher temperature. The mammoth onions, good display there. Some the Kelsey in the middle. And right on the very end there is the winter density lettuce, which really needs potting on. Nothing back on the back there is the capsicum again. The centre one is just a single one at the moment of a chilli from Pete Edwards. And at the back, right at the very back there, Dan's onions, and they've come up. So the onions in general, with the reach the crook stage, I'll be potting those on very shortly, probably today. The weather here in the Midlands where I am has been fairly mixed. We've escaped all the snow, which quite a lot of you have around the country. We have had some really bad frosts. Rain has come along as well, which has really put pay to any work on the plot. However, I did have a brief mad spell, and I started off to clear the bottom end of the plot, which had been in the plans for probably 2 or 3 years, and I'd never done it, but I have started now. I didn't do any filming, but I took a few clips to show you the before. I'll just pop them in now. And this is where we've got to so far. As you can see, it's a fair bit of difference, but there's still a long way to go. The plan is to put a path more or less against the bean frame, probably about ½ a metre wide. Then I think I'll be making this area here into a little fruit bed, soft fruit bed. And possibly in front of the greenhouse there, I'll put 2 rows of pavers, some flags, and I'll possibly put the bench on because it actually looks out south, so we'll get some sun. So that part there, that bed which used to be the broad beans, is now I'm going to be converting that eventually into a cold frame. So I'll give you a little quick update of the things in here. These are the sweet peas. The ones are sown, well, I think it's Octoberish, November. I'm doing very well. The golden gourmet shallots seem very, very slow in striking. 1 or 2 have actually gone, but I've given a little tug on them all, and they've all put roots down, which is the main thing. So hopefully the rest of them will be throwing a bit of green up very, very soon. In preparation for pricking the seedlings out, I thought I'd better check the hotbeds, make sure they're working fine. I think it was last year or the year before I did a refurb on the one and relined it, and originally I had sharp sand in there, but I saw the video. I know Tony O'Neill was one, I think the other one might have been Dale Totten, is that they'd use vermiculite instead of the sand, because I'd got a big concern here, the weight of this, and it's a freestanding benches in here. So I swapped mine over to vermiculite instead of the sand, and for me it did work. But I've been recently looking online at new soil warming cables, and I was quite surprised. A lot of them says don't use the soil warming cables in insulating material, and they particularly mention vermiculite because it can get the cables too hot. So what I've decided to do is not remove it all. I've lowered the layer down a bit. I'm putting the soil cable on top, then the heated material on top of that. I'm going to be using the sharp sand again, so I'll probably be using half the volume of sharp sand that it originally was. I've topped the bed up with sand now. I'm just going to give it a really good soaking. Apologies to anybody in the plastering trade. But I think it'll level itself out once it's got some water in it. I'll just let that soak in now. As you can see, it's going down quite quick. Once that's settled down now, I'll put the lid on and I'll turn the heat on full, and just to warm the sand up quickly. First thing I'm going to be pricking out now is the winter density lettuce. I'll put these into the modules first, but I'll probably end up planting them into the border on the allotment greenhouse. It depends what I've got in there. I think at the time, by the time they're ready to plant out, I should have the first early potatoes in the buckets. So let's have a look down there. Just take them out the bucket, the pot I mean. Just do a little hole using my friend the Sharpie. A good gardener's friend the Sharpie is. There's 2 foot 10 in here. That'll be enough to last me. Gently tease them away. Just took all the root ball off, I'll put it down on it, it'll soon pick up, that will. Bob them in, down, and leave another 9 to go. That's 10 winter density lettuce pricked out now, and I'll just give them a bit of soaking from the bottom. And I think I'll be leaving these out. I won't be going in the heat bed because lettuce in general like a cooler temperatures. If we got some frost forecast, I might pop them inside then, but I think they're on their own now. The lettuce have had a good soaking, and I think I decided just to pop them inside this little propagator for 2 or 3 days just to get them over the initial shock of the transplant. But these will be going into the cold greenhouse on the allotment. And you might notice there I've just popped a little 2 or 3 sheets of kitchen roll in the bottom, and that will absorb any moisture and also retain a bit as well to keep the humidity up. The next thing to come out and be potted on is the Dahlias, and they're a variety called Diablo Mix. These shall be potted on into a 24 cell tray. This is had to do a little bit of a repair there. The one cell had got damaged, but not to worry. And the compost in here is the Clover multi-purpose. These are really lovely seedlings to work with, and they've got nice succulent leaves. You can feel them really fleshy. So we're potting, say, 24 of these up, and I think I'll put these in the propagator because they are a bit tender dahlias. Well, we couldn't have planned that better. There's exactly 24 seedlings to prick out, and there they all are. I'm soaking up now, and they'll be going in, say, into the hotbed a bit later. We've just had a delivery of cow manure. There's about 6 tonne here, and fortunately it's not all mine. I'll be sharing it with another 2 plot holders, and we pay 30 quid a load for this, £30, so it's really good value. As you can see, it's really well rotted. Some of this will be going on to my beds, or mixed in, trenched in, and the remainder of what I have will be going into the compost bay. My plot is exact opposite end of the site to where the manure is delivered. Consequently, it's a 200 metre round trip with 30 trips. That's 6,000 metres. Who needs a gym? These 3 beds here 1 ABC are going to be the home for the brassicas for this coming year. So what I've done in this first one here, I've dug a trench out. It's about a spit's depth, and then there's the barrow of cow manure that's going to go in the bottom, probably about 4 to 6 inches deep, and then I'll just put the topsoil back on the top, and I'll repeat that for all 3 beds. That's the first row of the manure in. I've tamped it down with the rake, and all I've got to do now is to start putting the topsoil back on. I'm not sure how well this will show up, but with the soil filled in you can see the rise in the height of the bed already. Now over a period of a few weeks or months that'll eventually sink down, but because this is the brassica bed as well, I'll be actually firming it down so it'll more or less be level with the boards when we just plant out. That's about it for today. Been on it nearly all day. I've had a few chats in between and coffees and that, but I'll be honest, it took longer than I thought it would. But considering how deep I've gone down, then there's a good 8-10 inches of cow manure on with the soil back on the top. I know now, rest assured, that that'll be holding moisture in there for a good 3 to 4 years maybe. Plan is for tomorrow to carry on with the middle bed. That's if the weather's fine. So I'll see you tomorrow.